Hello, fabulous friends and fans. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah, and welcome to this FAQ video a question sent in by Nia through my website, and she asked about Friday the 13th. Is there any astrological significance to Friday the 13th or to being born on a Friday the 13th? So from a very immediate sort of short direct answer, I have to say no. So astrologically speaking, there isn't any astrological significance to that. Now numerologically and culturally, absolutely yes. And there are a couple of different ways to look at this. You know, I am reminded of Ptolemy. So in Western astrology, basically the entire tradition of Western astrology dates back to a text called Tetrabiblos by Ptolemy. And Ptolemy was sort of this great figure in astronomy as well. He's studied by budding astronomers as well. And this was his astrology book because back in the day, you really couldn't look at the physical without also considering the spiritual as well. And it is in this foundational text to Western astrology that he says that the sky could be what it is, right? But it is also your culture and your family and the place and time that you're born in that speaks to who you will become as much as the planets do. So right from the word go, he's putting it at 50-50. He's saying that yes, the sky is important. Yes, the astrology is important, but there's other stuff as well that's determining who you are and what you do and how you manifest your character traits and what kind of life you end up actually manifesting for yourself as well. And this is something that is seen again and again, and especially as Western astrology moved and evolved more and more through a monotheistic context. And in monotheism, free will, such an important factor, such an important sort of value in the monotheistic tradition. So we see this happening as astrology evolves because ultimately astrology is whatever the people need it to be. It is a living practice and it responds to whatever culture it finds itself in to serve that culture best. Friday the 13th is a cultural moment. It's a cultural experience, and we have collectively, in some parts of the world, now it's different, like in some other places in the world, I've heard of like Friday the 17th as well as being significant in parts of Asia as well, depending on where you are on the planet. But Friday the 13th in particular, there have been different sort of theories about why this has been determined to be a bad luck moment. Some people root it in sort of Christian symbolism. Some people root it in sort of the lunar cycles. So the lunar calendar is normally 13 cycles long, and the solar calendar is, well, 12 months, so 12 cycles long, or 12 months rather. And so there are some people who have suggested that making the number 13 evil ultimately is a response to moving towards a culture that is more like solar, and therefore the values that the sun represents in terms of free will and masculinity and direction and illumination. It's sort of prioritizing those values as opposed to more intuitive values that the moon represents, and the moon being a symbol of what is more feminine, intuition, receptivity as well. So that's one theory. And again, as I said, that there's some sort of some theories out there that root this more in like Christian symbolism as well, because some important dates around Christianity refer to the number 13 or refer to Friday. I've also heard it said that Friday is named after a Norse goddess, Venus, ultimately. But this was a goddess of not only love and beauty, but also war as well. And this is a theme that we see not only in that part of the world, but also in many of the Latin native cultures as well. We see Venus understood not only in terms of love, but also in association with war as well. Now, the number 13 as well, just looking at it from a numerological perspective, The number 13 represents a few different things. First, it reduces to the number 4, and the number 4 has to do with foundations. It has to do with, depending on the system of numerology you are using. Some systems associate the number 4 with Mercury. Other systems associate the number 4 with Saturn. I've also come across systems that talk about the number 4 associated with the moon as well. And so ultimately, though, it is understood that 4 represents structure and stability. It represents matters that have to do with, you know, I think about the table, right? The table having 4 legs. Well, there's sort of an understanding. Tables can have 3 legs as well, but there's sort of this wider understanding that for real stability, the number 4 and having things in 4s are more ideal than having things not at the even number of 4. And as a symbol of Mercury, it suggests like sort of stating it, right? Just stating it, understanding it, speaking it. As a symbol of Saturn, this is about stability and structure. As a symbol of the moon, this is about family and the foundation on which you stand. And so these are some ideals associated with that. The number 1 is one of independence. The number 3 is one of, the number 1 is also the sun. 3 is Jupiter. 3 has to do with creativity and expansion as well. And they come together to create structure. So that's from a numerological perspective. This is what I also wanted to say about this, because we are having a Friday the 13th week right about now, is that, as I said, it's the cultural impact cannot be understated. We are participating in the unfolding of the universe. There are people out there who love Friday the 13th. My brother is one of them. He absolutely loves this, which may say a lot about him. He's a really great guy, really sweet guy, but he really likes this sort of symbolism around this. I do want to say that this whole idea of considering certain days bad is really not helpful, of course, right? But what is bad is also something up for consideration, and ultimately that's up to you to define if you're going to accept that sort of understanding of what a particular omen might mean. I'm thinking also of black cats being associated with Friday the 13th, and black cats being an omen of what's not good. Well, my family, growing up, we had a black cat, lived with us for 17 years, blessed our lives with so much love. We would never have experienced the most gentle, beautiful cat that ever lived, in my opinion. And it sort of makes you wonder, and it makes you ask yourself, what associations are you going to value and are you going to hold, and how is it that you are going to change things as you decide for yourself what your world and also what the cosmos is going to mean for you, and your place in the cosmos is going to mean for you as well. But astrologically speaking, the Friday the 13th doesn't really have any astrological significance, but culturally speaking, it is a moment that asks us to look at what do we consider good luck and what do we consider bad luck, and to decide that we are going to emphasize the good above and beyond anything else. Well, thank you so much for your questions. Please do keep them coming. I love interacting with you guys. Facebook, Twitter, Google+, of course, my website, nadiyashah.com as well. The YouTube comments as well. Love interacting with you guys. Thank you so much for your trust. Until we connect again, take care.